Hello, everyone. Welcome. And I am so excited that you're here with us. Thank you for taking time out of your busy lives. My name is Bilal Aslam. I am a product manager at Databricks, and today I will be talking to you about data engineering on the Lakehouse. But before we do that, let's take a quick step back. One of my favorite phrases is the future of data is here. And if you look around you, that's actually true. Businesses are analyzing massive amounts of data. Trillions of rows are processed every day from thousands of sources. And you can see the effects everywhere. In fact, data is the most important asset of our generation, and it is taking off like nothing before. One of my favorite statistics by IDC is that by the year 2025, businesses will collectively handle 175 zettabytes of data. That's a lot. In fact, the ingestion, transformation, and orchestration and monitoring of data, both historic and real-time, is going to power a new generation of applications and improve our ability to understand the past as well as predict the future. So the future is very bright with data. But let's step back. Let's look at the practicality of this. Maintaining data reliability at scale is really, really complex. And if you can imagine, I'm going to talk to you about how Databricks makes this simple. Data engineers spend immense amounts of time on doing tasks that are low value, they're full of toil, and they are unmaintainable. For example, data engineers spend time hand coding data ingestion and transformations. This is time they're not spending on the business logic and making the business more successful. They spend time building and maintaining scalable infrastructure. This is not a core competency for most businesses. These data scientists and data engineers should be working on generating insights. Orchestrating and managing production workloads remains extremely difficult. And this is on data engineering teams that are running already at low capacity. And also managing incompatible governance models. So how do I secure both my structured data as well as the unstructured data? How do I make sure that everything is secure and I'm compliant? All of these challenges are in fact holding most businesses back. And a shocking statistic, and this is super interesting, is that something close to 73% of enterprise data goes unused for analytics and decision-making. So we are taking the most valuable asset of our generation. We're spending too much effort collecting it. We're spending too much toil curating it, and almost 3/4 of it goes unused. How do we fix that? So I'm extremely proud to talk to you about data engineering on the Databricks Lakehouse platform. And it's very simple. This is about building reliable data analytics and AI pipelines and solutions. This includes a full end-to-end data engineering solution, everything from ingesting and transforming batch and streaming data, orchestrating reliable production workflows at scale, increasing the productivity of data teams with built-in data quality testing, as well as support for software development best practices. So with that, let's get to it. But before we go there, let's talk a little bit about amazing customers like you. More than 7,000 of them who have joined Databricks in our mission to make data accessible to everyone in the enterprise. So more than 7,000 Databricks customers already take advantage of the benefits that Databricks brings, because we've made data engineering simple and reliable for all data engineering teams. And sometimes I would like to talk, sometimes I like to step back and say, well, why do they love it so much? Well, there are 5 things that customers love about data engineering on the Lakehouse. First, they love the fact that we have simplified data ingestion with Delta Live tables. And we're going to talk a little bit about Delta Live tables in a moment, but this takes away the pain and the toil of loading data from streaming and batch sources and making sure that it is brought in with quality. We help you automate ETL for batch and streaming data with Delta Live tables. We bring you reliable orchestration for all your workloads, everything from data analytics and AI with Databricks workflows. And also, because data is the lifeblood of your business, we help you with end-to-end observability and monitoring, not just of the data pipelines, but for the data underneath them that they manage. And lastly, in this climate, governance, reliability, and performance is extremely important. And guess what? We bring that too in one single platform. Okay. Let's take a closer look at how it all works together. So first of all, building ETL pipelines to ingest and prepare data for ML and analytics is one of the most business critical workloads for data teams. So here's how it works. Databricks enables data teams to unify batch and streaming operations on a single simplified architecture. This lets you do both historical analytics as well as real-time analytics and machine learning in a single place. We also help you with modern software engineering best practices on your data and machine learning pipelines, including development and testing. So you can focus on doing your work instead of worrying about how to keep your pipelines up and running. Lastly, we help you meet all the regulatory requirements in this climate to maintain world-class governance. As a result, the Lakehouse provides end-to-end data engineering and ETL platform that automates away the complexity of building and maintaining pipelines and running ETL workloads. So you, the data engineers and analysts, can focus on quality and reliability to drive insights to the business. Let's see a little bit more about how we do this. So first of all, to make all of this possible for our customers, we recently announced the general availability of Delta Live Tables and Databricks workflows. So Delta Live Tables is the modern way to do ETL on the Lakehouse platform. And I'm going to talk to you about it in a moment. So Delta Live Tables is extremely exciting, and I think you'll agree with that once you use it. So Delta Live Tables is the first ETL framework that uses a simple declarative approach to building reliable data pipelines and automatically manages your infrastructure at scale. So you, the data analysts and data engineers, can spend less time on tooling and focus on getting value from data. With Delta Live Tables, data engineers are able to treat their data as code and apply modern software engineering best practices like testing, error handling, monitoring, and documentation to deploy reliable pipelines at scale. So how does this work? Well, the first benefit of Delta Live Tables is that it helps you greatly accelerate ETL development. Unlike solutions that require you to manually hand-stitch fragments of code to build end-to-end pipelines, DLT makes it possible to declaratively express the entire data flow, both in SQL and Python. In addition, Delta Live Tables natively enables modern software engineering best practices, like the ability to develop in environments separate from production. This way, you can easily test your pipeline before deploying it into production. Delta Live Tables also automatically manages the infrastructure. So all the toil of activities like recovery, auto-scaling, performance optimization is all taken care of by Databricks. This lets you focus on what you're really, really good at, which is driving insights into the business. In addition, Delta Live Tables is the first declarative data pipeline framework with built-in data quality. So what this means for you is that you can deliver reliable data with built-in quality controls, testing, and monitoring without having to build solutions or stitch them together. So the way this works is through a feature called data expectations. Data expectations help prevent bad data from flowing into tables, tracks data quality over time, and provides tools to troubleshoot bad data with granular pipeline observability. So you get a high-fidelity lineage diagram of your pipeline, you can track dependencies, and then get access to aggregate and fine-grained data quality metrics. So this is how you keep the Lakehouse filled with clean, fresh data. And finally, Delta Live Tables also unifies batch and streaming. You get the simplicity of SQL with the freshness of streaming with one unified API. And unlike other products that force you to deal with streaming and batch workloads separately, Delta Live Tables supports any type of data workload with a single API. So you, the data engineer and analysts alike, can build cloud-scale data pipelines faster and without needing to have advanced data engineering skills. So Delta Live Tables is extremely exciting. It is truly the modern way to do ETL, and it's the way to go from idea to launch as fast as possible. I'm also very excited to talk about Databricks workflows. And we have also recently announced the general availability of Databricks workflows. So please go try it out. So this is where Databricks workflows comes in. Every single data pipeline ever requires orchestration. And you may have heard of tools like Airflow and tools like Azure Data Factory. This is where you define the directed acyclic graph of your workflow. Databricks workflows takes away all the pain and all the toil of running your own orchestrator. First of all, it can orchestrate anything, anywhere. You can run a diverse set of workloads for your full data and AI lifecycle on any cloud. So what does this mean? It means you can run notebooks. You can run Python code. You can run dbt projects. You can even orchestrate Delta Live Tables, and in fact, a lot more. And all of this is built with a very simple and intuitive authoring UI. It's intuitive, it's purpose-built, and lets every single user within your company build and manage data workflows and ML workflows. What's cool about Databricks workflows is that it's also deeply integrated into the Databricks Lakehouse platform. So for example, when you build a workflow here, it's not a black box. We give you deep monitoring capabilities. We give you centralized observability and monitoring. Of course, like the rest of Databricks, it is fully managed. You don't have to maintain machines. You don't have to maintain servers. This takes away the operational overhead, so you can focus on what you really are very good at, which is writing new workflows, getting insights, delivering them to the business, not managing infrastructure. And I'm very proud to say it's a highly reliable and cloud scale orchestrator. So in other words, you can bring your most challenging workflows, the most at scale with high concurrency, with business critical SLAs. And we have proven experience running these tens and tens of millions of these on Databricks every day. And now let's see a little demo of how it all comes together.
Hi everyone, welcome to this demo about modern data engineering with Databricks. Imagine you're asked to build a system that uses machine learning to monitor if users on Twitter talk about your company and your products in a good or bad way. Of course, before we even think about the ML model, we need to make sure we have good data for it. And that data comes from quality data engineering with pipelines and workflows. Let's look at how we might construct that. To connect to a live Twitter feed, I use a Databricks Python notebook backed up by a Git repo. With the Tweepy API, I define a search expression for my stream. That data will be streamed into an S3 bucket. Delta Live Tables, DLT, is the modern way to do ETL on the Lakehouse. I'm using DLT to ingest, cleanse, and transform those tweets. You can do that entirely in SQL, but we also support Python for DLT in case you prefer that. DLT data pipelines are declarative. The Lakehouse platform provisions the underlying autoscaling infrastructure, creates the tables, and figures out which tables have to be updated in which order. Following the medallion pattern, where data quality is improved going from bronze to silver to gold tables, I describe my first live table in SQL, the bronze table. It's a table that uses autoloader for ingestion. Note the keyword live here. With autoloader, data ingestion becomes as easy as dropping files into a folder. Autoloader is using this directory. It can infer the schema, which is a convenient and time-saving feature since every tweet consists of more than 40 different attributes. Now, thanks to autoloader, I don't have to manually map all those column names and types to a table schema. From now on, I can rely on the bronze table with a proper schema. Autoloader itself is a streaming data source, so a single tweet will be ingested exactly once, and I can create a streaming live table. Streaming live tables are stateful. They work incrementally and remember what state was processed already. My second live table, the silver table, depends on the bronze table. This silver table drops the rows with unsuitable data. It also removes unnecessary columns from the data coming from the bronze table. The goal is to create data fit for the ML model. To ensure data quality with DLT, I can use a feature called expectations. An expectation is a constraint with an action to take based on a condition. For this use case, I make sure that I only use English tweets because my ML model was trained with English text only. All the other tweets will be dropped. A third table in my pipeline computes a simple histogram of all the different languages in the tweets, because that's something I'm curious about. For the running pipeline, I can see the lineage graph. Here, I triggered the pipeline manually. If I run it again, it will only read the tweets that arrived since the last run. Under pipeline settings, I could set the pipeline to continuous mode to keep it running and reduce latencies. Here, I can also enable enhanced autoscaling, which is improving the throughput and therefore reducing the cost while keeping the latency low. The target setting allows me to run the exact same pipeline in development, staging, or production environment. Finally, in my third notebook, I use a Hugging Face transformer. That's a pre-trained ML model for sentiment analysis that even understands about emojis in tweets. The cleaned Twitter stream, that is the output from the Delta Live tables, is the input for my ML model. It's a Delta table. The final output shows a pie chart assuring me that like 93% of all tweets are either positive or neutral, and a word cloud displays the most frequently used words in those positive tweets. The ML model shows that we're good. People love Databricks, DLT, and workflows. Obviously, you do not want to juggle with all these notebooks yourself, but use Databricks Workflows, the fully managed orchestration service which is built into the Lakehouse platform. For my use case, I orchestrate 3 separate tasks. The Python notebook that reads the Twitter feed, a data pipeline built with DLT to prep the data for ML, and the notebook running Hugging Face for sentiment analysis. If I try and add another task, you can see that there is a vast selection of different task types that can be orchestrated, such as jar files with a main class, Spark jobs, Python scripts and Python wheel packages, as well as data flow pipelines in DLT or DBT. Once my job is scheduled and running, I'd like to get some insight whether it executes without any failed tasks. I can look at all the runs. And speaking of observability, my favorite view is the matrix view that shows me the jobs over time. So long-running jobs and errors can be spotted easily. If an error occurs, I can use the repair and rerun feature to rerun all the downstream tasks that were impacted. This saves significant time and costs. Hopefully, now you've got a good idea of how to build a streaming data pipeline with Delta Live tables and orchestrate all data engineering tasks with Databricks workflows. With modern data engineering on Databricks, you can easily ingest and transform batch and streaming data.
All right. So I hope you enjoyed the demo. This was just a short tour, a brief tour of some of the new and upcoming functionality in data engineering, as well as some of the recently launched features in Delta Live tables and Databricks workflows. You can, of course, find this content and more getting started content on our website. And there are also several breakout sessions for data engineering during the world tour, including a breakout session for Delta Live tables, one for Databricks workflows, as well as one for streaming. And for those of you who have a phone handy, here's a QR code, and you can use qrcodegenerator.com or your phone to scan this, and this will give you access to the notebooks behind the demo. You should go check out the code, and please tell us what you think about it. So here are the resources I was talking about. There is a useful getting started page on databricks.com. Here you can start learning about the capabilities that I've demonstrated to you today. And we also have 3 dedicated data engineering sessions during the Data and AI World Tour. The first one is titled Delta Live Tables, Modern Software Engineering and Management for ETL. I highly recommend you check it out. For those of you who are interested in learning about orchestration, there's a session titled Orchestration Made Easy with Databricks Workflows. And finally, streaming has its own session called Data Streaming on the Lakehouse. And with that, I want to say thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. And I hope to see you in the sessions, and I hope to hear from you.